Head coach, North Carolina, Roy Williams. They're currently ranked 6th. Big game coming up with Duke this Saturday. Coach back on the show with us. How are you? How's the morale, Coach?
Well, Dan, last night was senior night, and if I'd been the choreographer, and I couldn't have done it any better than what it was last night. We had walk-ons, 3 walk-ons, and the other 2 guys starting, and had the walk-ons in the game at the end, but 2 of them made 3-point shots. So it was a fantastic final home game for the seniors and those bit. But yet I was pretty frustrated about how we played. So my morale is probably not as high as those 2 walk-ons that made 2 big threes for us. But we're working at it. We're trying to get better. Is what we're trying to do.
I don't know. I probably misstated this when I was talking to Seth Davis from CBS. I talked about a bigger disappointment, North Carolina or Ohio State, and he said, well, it's hard to say North Carolina is a disappointment with 4 losses. I guess it was just maybe the style of basketball, or I don't know if it's been consistent basketball. Preseason expectations. Have you, do you feel like, been a disappointment? This team has been a disappointment this year.
No, I wouldn't say that, Dan. You know, the big thing, the expectations in the preseason were somewhat off the charts, and not that you should waste any time, but in 2009 they picked us number 1, and I felt like we were the best team. This year that we were picked the number 1 lot, and everybody would say something. I'd say, hey guys, there's about 7 or 8 teams that are on that same level. I don't think anybody's standing out, and here after people played 28 to 31 games. I think that Syracuse sort of separated themselves perhaps a little bit. Perhaps Kentucky separated themselves a little bit. Kansas has certainly done some things. But there's still, 3 or 4, 5, 6 other teams that have a chance. I mean, we're sitting here and we're 26 and 4. And we lost to Duke on a last-second shot when one of their kids made a big-time play. We lost to Kentucky when we didn't make a last-second shot, when their kid made a big-time block. So we have 2 one-point losses to teams that most people are saying are going to be number 1 seeds, and then another team that has a chance to be a number 1 seed is Michigan State, and unfortunately we beat them. So we've had some really good things happen, but one of your points, or one of the things you almost said about style of play, is I thought we would really be a good offensive team, because I thought we'd really score the ball, and we haven't done that nearly as well as I thought we would. And you take out our best perimeter shooter before the season even starts with an ACL, and then you take out our best perimeter defender with an ACL and during the season, and so we haven't sat here and exactly played the same guys that we thought we were going to have. But bottom line is, we have 4 losses. If Austin Rivers' shot doesn't go in the last game here, all of a sudden we're 27-3. We have a 2-game lead in the conference, and nobody's saying anything. But that's college basketball. The difference between winning and losing is so small that's what we have to remember.
You have that pick and roll with Austin Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess tell me what happens when you're in the huddle, and what kind of feeling are you getting that Coach K is going to call, and were you prepared for a pick and roll and that you switch men?
Yeah, we switched, and I think, and you'd have to ask Mike to know this, and needless to have a call up and say, hey, Mike, what would you really want the guy to do, that kind of thing. But most of the time, if you see a guard, a good ball-handling guard, being guarded out on the perimeter by a big guy, what are you going to tell him to do? Most guys are going to tell him to take the ball to the basket if you're 2 down especially. And so Z was aware of that kind of thing, and yet he's saying, I know he's probably going to try to drive me, but I got to get a hand up on the shot too. And it was a tough situation, but that's what Duke does, because they've got scorers at 5 spots for them. If I had it to do over again, yeah, I'd do it differently, because now I know that it didn't work the first way. There's no question about that. But, we've won some games when our big guys have gotten out and bothered the 3-point shot. And, we may had some mistakes. We had some mistakes. The guys on TV were going crazy about a walk that wasn't called, and we supposedly touched the ball on a shot as it was going out of bounds when we didn't. We got a guy that was pushed on an offensive rebound. The ball bounces off his hand and goes in the basket. Doug Moe, the former NBA coach and former North Carolina player, said when he saw that, he said, said, Roy, it's the perfect storm. He said, I knew you were in trouble then. But, yeah, we would try to do it differently. Z could have done one thing a little bit better. If he could have just gotten there a split second sooner or a split second closer, you know, it was not a split second closer, a foot closer, but a split second sooner. Either one of those might have helped. But you know what you have to do is all that stuff, if, and if. You know, if we had won, we'd have been this, or if he had missed, we'd have been that. That's all a bunch of garbage, because the bottom line is the kid made a big-time shot, and we've got to live with that and try to see if we can play them better. But the one thing that I did so far had misread is I thought we would be really a good shooting team, a scoring team, and yet we've made our living so far this season defending and rebounding. And, I mean, teams are shooting 38% against us and the whole bit. But against Duke, you got to get out. I think they shot like, I'm going to miss this probably, but 36 threes against us last time and made 14 of them. We've got to do a better job of getting out. And then ourselves, we need to make some of those shots ourselves.
You ever run into Coach K? Just like a local like you're driving and you're going to Home Depot or something, or you're stopping to get something to eat. You ever run into him?
You mean run into him like see him, or run into him with my car?
No. I know that thought. Yeah, but you ever cross paths with him?
Words in your mouth, Danny. I apologize. For some reason, I had that vision. I don't know why, kind of thing.
What if he was in the crosswalk and you were driving?
No, I would pull over the side, stop, roll down my window, and say, "What are you doing, fella?" I mean, okay. I feel like I like coaches. I really do. Now, I don't like many of them during the game. They're sitting on the other bench, but no. And I even had Brad Brownell from Clemson. I was walking across the crosswalk down in South Carolina last year, and he actually stopped and didn't run over me. And so, but during the season, you're so busy. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 restaurants on my side of town that if we're going to go out and eat, that's where we go. I don't even cross Chapel Hill, and it's not exactly a big town. Yeah. And, Mike does the same thing. And in the off season, we both travel so much. And if I have free time, I'm either with my family or I'm on the golf course, and Mike doesn't play golf.
Why does John Calipari get a bad rap?
He does a great job coaching them.
But you had Bob Knight the other day. I think he was on the Mothership, and he wouldn't even acknowledge Kentucky or Anthony Davis. Kentucky is one of the top 5 teams, and Anthony Davis is one of the top players. I mean, that is directed at John Calipari.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear that, and I see what you're saying. But, the bottom line is, there's some people that don't agree with Mike Krzyzewski. There's some people that don't agree with Roy Williams, and maybe even more so with John because it's so high profile. And John may like that. He may promote it. He may be getting more endorsement deals out of this stuff. He may be smarter than everybody else. But so many of the kids are a one-and-done thing, which a lot of people, including a lot of coaches, wish we didn't have that. It is a promotional kind of thing. Come here, play, get ready to go ahead and run to the NBA. They beat a lot of people, and the more people you beat, the less likely they're going to like you kind of thing. But what John's done the last couple of years, I mean, they haven't lost a home game since he got there. That's pretty daggum impressive kind of thing.
Yeah, but he didn't do the one and done. He's just taking advantage of the one and done.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying, but you and I both know. I mean, that's what some people don't like, and especially in high major college athletics, there's always naysayers out there that say we are taking advantage of the student athlete. We're allowing TV to do so many things. We're allowing the dollar to dominate that. And, and all of those are true. But it is what it is, too. But John is in that unique position, being the basketball coach at Kentucky. He's had the New York, Massachusetts mentality of being a promoter. Some people don't like that, but like I say, John's probably smarter than everybody because he's doing some of those things to irritate people intentionally so he can get more money off his endorsements.
Good luck against Duke. I don't know why I have you winning. I have no idea why, but I have you winning that game.
Well, I have no idea why you don't either, but I hope you're really good and really smart.
All right, but guard Rivers on the perimeter, okay?
Well, the funny thing, I saw a clip the other night. As soon as I saw it, I cut it off because it made me mad. They said, you can't do this. The Rivers, I think it was Digger. You can't do this. You can't go under the screen. And Rivers pulled up and shot the other. I started to say, Digger, you think I don't know that? Won't you let the tape run about 5 more seconds? You see me take that freshman's butt out of the game. So it's something that it's a big-time game. It's a big-time stage, 2 fantastic programs, and we need to play our tails off. There's no question. They're extremely gifted at every position, and we need to play our tails off. If we do, we have a chance. If we don't, we don't.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Roy.
All right, Dan. Be good, fella.
All right, Roy Williams, North Carolina head coach. If you beat Duke, you're going to be a number 1 seed.